Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I thought I would review an absolute classic in the history of weightlifting and bodybuilding, and that is Sandow's System of Physical Training. It really is probably one of the most famous historical books on physical culture. It is well illustrated, showing photos of Sandow early in his career, as well as drawings and it's full of stories about Sandow, as well as his system of physical training, his system of bodybuilding and also of weightlifting. So I want to just go through it quickly. I don't actually have a real copy. This is a photocopy that I made for myself of the original from 1894. So just skipping firstly to the first chapter, Sandow really was a great figure in physical culture history, in that he was truly the first ambassador of bodybuilding and of physical culture in general. Physical culture, one could say, has been around for hundreds if not thousands of years, but that's another topic. And the first man to really popularize the strongman act, as well as not just that, but display his physique the way that Sandow did, and truly show what was possible for the human species in terms of muscular development, is what Sandow is truly remembered for. And in this book we find his opinions, firstly of the day and age, how he was sick and tired of seeing people starting to become sluggish with the industrial revolution hitting, and people starting to become more lazy and doing less, having a less of a physical activities in their lifestyle. And he basically says there's a plea for physical education. That's how the book actually starts off. So you really see his strong opinion in popularizing weightlifting and bodybuilding. And of course the book is absolutely full of his biography, how he was as a young boy he wanted to go to the circus, and eventually he started learning gymnastics and wrestling. And then later on, it starts talking about all his strength feats, and how he began self-promoting himself in wrestling matches, walking up to strongmen and challenging them in front of massive crowds. And his name became well known throughout all of Europe and eventually the whole world. And the half of the book, I would say, is completely dedicated to Sandow's biography as written by others. Now, when we start getting further into the book, we start seeing now the topic of physical culture, and that's what I really find is the absolute gold of this particular book. He goes through in much detail the anatomy of the human body, of the lower part as well as the upper part, somewhere in here. And so it goes through the muscles of the upper arm as well, and of the torso, of the legs, etc. And then he goes through the exercises. Now, one of the hardest things for people to understand, and I'll probably have to do a separate video on this, is that Sandow, believe it or not, and this is very hard to believe, developed his physique using very light dumbbells. And through the concentrated, using his concentration, he was able to use the dumbbells as an aid to contract his muscles voluntarily. It wasn't necessarily what we do nowadays, which is apply resistance to the muscle. No, the dumbbells, which is called the Sandow light dumbbell system, not necessarily invented by him, but that again is another story. It was actually taught to him by Professor Attila, who was his teacher. And the light dumbbell system goes back hundreds if not thousands of years in itself. But basically back then, bodybuilding was very different. They used light dumbbells and tried to apply maximum concentration to their muscles through their own mind-muscle connection. It's the best way to really put it. And again, this deserves another full separate video to truly explain the concept. And this is what a lot of people find hard to believe. It's not just Sandow that used this technique, but because Professor Attila had a whole heap of students, Bobby Pandur was another one, and several others, Desbonnet of France, etc. They all used and promoted the light dumbbell system. Now, this is not to say that Sandow was able to lift a 300-pound dumbbell over his head because he used a very light dumbbells. No, but his muscular development, this athletic look that he possessed, was purely due to his light dumbbell system. And it is a very particular system, very different to bodybuilding today. And he displays it profusely in this book and explains it very, very clearly as to how to perform it. And there's a total of about 15 to 20 exercises that he explains, including curls and flies and raises and presses and all sorts of exercises, punching out. And of course, there's also body weight exercises such as squatting and push-ups, etc. And he gives a program at the end as to how to apply his system. After this, which is a great system, and I may actually even try it myself, seeing that I'm recovering still from injury. After this section, there is a great section on heavyweight exercises, and basically, in summary, all I can say is this is Olympic weightlifting. He talks about the one-handed and two-handed varieties of using kettlebells, single dumbbells, 2 dumbbells at a time, and of course at the end barbells. And he talks about basically doing the clean, so how to lift up to the shoulders and then how to press it off your shoulders using the clean and jerk or the clean and press, and also the snatches explained. So here's basically a 1 dumbbell clean, and then the bent press is also explained, and a whole bunch of other weightlifting exercises which we know nowadays. That's the one-handed snatch, for example. He also gives a very interesting heavy concentration curl, the double-handed clean and press, all these really old-school weightlifting exercises. And what I really like is also crucifixes are explained really, really well. And what I also love is his, at the end, he actually shows, so these are all the barbell weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting exercises such as clean and jerk, etc. But at the end, he actually starts talking about his strength feats, and this is really cool because he really gives a thorough explanation as to how he actually performed some of his strength feats, which he actually used on stage, such as balancing an upright, a barbell upright with 1 or 2 hands, and then doing bent presses with them, or stone lifting with 1 or 2 hands, of which his record I think was something like was it 1,500 pounds? That's right, with one hand lift of 1,500 pounds. Incredible. He also did harness lifts of 4,800 pounds, so that's almost 2.5 tons. That's insane. He was incredibly strong, and at the end he also shows and starts marketing his cable-based leg exercise machine for adduction and abduction, as well as extension and leg curling, to develop all the muscles of the body. And in the very end, in the appendix, he actually gives some testimonials from some of his own students, and he shows some of the results that you can gain from his system of physical culture, his system of bodybuilding, and that is the light dumbbell system of training. And of course, he also gives recommendations as to how to grow a very thick moustache. No, I'm just kidding, he doesn't do that. But yeah, he does explain his system of physical training, his system of physical culture very, very well. And I think it's a great read. I will have this on my website if you wish to purchase it for a minimum price. But if you do your searches, you can actually find it online, and you can actually find new editions online as well. I think for anywhere between $5 to $20 on Amazon or on eBay. It's constantly sold. It's a very interesting book. It's a very wonderful historic book, and I do recommend it. It's a great read. I really did thoroughly enjoy reading about Eugene Sandow, his history, his biography, his method of bodybuilding, and his method of weightlifting, and his strength feats. A fantastic book, really a fantastic book. I actually can't wait to get myself an original copy from 1894. I am on a hunt for it, but yeah, when I do, I'll obviously show it to you. Hope you've enjoyed this review of an absolute classic book, a real historical book, Sandow's System of Physical Training. If you've enjoyed the review, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me your comments, and thank you for watching. Again, if you'd like to support my work, please donate via PayPal or become a patron. You can always visit my website for books and booklets on old school bodybuilding training on www.goldenerabookworm.com. That's it for me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.